well, which are pretty neat. Just because we have so many things that we're technically not supposed to at this point.
Yeah, it definitely allows us to abuse the game as much as possible, and it looks
and it looks like they're off. And yes, shoutouts to Turkey's timer.
The legend. For those who don't know, Turkey is our world record holder at this point.
I believe JT is 5th?
Yes, actually, I can check that right now.
So we're getting 2 items right off the bat while you're checking that. We're going to have an auto potion, which is kind of like an auto revive in case someone dies. And they're going to have that pike ball, which they're going to use on the final boss. And right out of the gate, you can see the craziness of pirate mode. Getting the dashes, getting all these hovers, getting these cannon jumps, tons of crazy movement.
Yeah, as you see, you'll notice that there are a few items that they're already using right off the bat. The first one being the Roddy Top's shoes, which is what allows them to do that super dash that you see them doing. The second is the cannonball. The cannonball is what allows them. It gives them 3 extra jumps. If I can count correct, or is it 4?
It's 3.
3. I am right. 3 extra jumps that allows them to get pretty far, and then the hat as well, which allows them to glide. And now you're seeing the sword, which allows them to do damage in a downward motion, which allows them to hit those mines as well as some enemies if they so wish.
And that random jump there is actually quite important. They're skipping a cutscene trigger, so saving a decent amount of time. No one got the super lucky monster milk drop for this first boss. So we're going to see a pretty normal ammo baron.
So the idea with this boss is, well, first of all, he's going to give them bad RNG, but he's going to shoot cannonballs, and eventually he will shoot a red one like you just saw with Nori, and once you do that, Shantae's going to hit it with her hair, and it's going to hit the tank and knock ammo baron out.
What? JT with the swag strats?
Right? He just has to bounce on ammo baron's head. That does not do damage, unfortunately. I wish that did damage, but it does not.
Oh, if that did damage, that would crack this boss wide open.
So JT getting in the lead right off the bat, finishing up just before Turkey.
Only about 5 seconds ahead, though, so that's really not too bad.
Yeah.
The swing on this boss can actually be way more extreme than that, so it's good to see that both of our runners are getting off to a good start.
Yes, Ammo Baron is definitely the first really RNG heavy boss, as him dashing and crashing into the boxes there's no control over that, and that wastes a lot of time. So right now we have about just like a minute of dialogue, which luckily our runners can quickly skip through.
Gotta love that plot, including the infamous trap tub. Shoutouts to trap tub.
Kids, don't look. This is rated M content right here. Yes, so checking at the leaderboard, for those of you who don't know, again, Turkey is our world record holder with a minute of 50 minutes and 20 seconds. And JT is 4th on the leaderboard with 52 minutes and 51 seconds. So this will definitely be a close race.
And a lot of item drop RNG comes into play as well, especially for the later half of the run.
Oh, definitely, yes. There are some strats in which are completely dependent upon certain items that you get. Also, say hello to our Cacklebat, because that's the first time and last time you'll probably see him.
Yep, there are categories where you kill all the Cacklebats to get the good ending, but that is going to be the only one that we kill here in any percent.
So this is Scuttletown. This is our home base of sorts, and this is where you buy items and go around and do anything else that you need to, as well as get the library card, which we will turn in for money later, which is why I call it the credit card.
That's good.
Yeah, but this is the first manual. Well, it's the only manual save. And I'm interested to see if our runners will take any save strats throughout this race and save at any point. Because saving
to save and get the library card and exit the town. And this is a really important section of the run in terms of item drops. These scarecrows have a chance to drop some very, very useful things. Looks like neither runner got anything super helpful. They're also both pretty close together in terms of money count, which really comes into play during the 3 separate shopping trips of this game.
Yeah, so none of them got any lucky drops, unfortunately, right there. But those scarecrows can drop anything from a monster milk to a even a super pipe ball, which is incredibly useful. So that was the first glitch that you actually saw there. Well, not the first, because of the risky shuffle, but we'll get into that a little bit. But what they did was they used the sword to bounce on the snake's head in close quarters, which the hitbox still lingers after the snake is killed, which allows you to kill it multiple times, causing the flesh pops to drop possibly multiple times.
Shoutouts to that frame sync. Turkey starting to pull back in. Definitely no gap between them anymore.
Yeah, this is Turkey's just experience in cutting corners. He's an absolute maniac when it comes to playing this game because he just plays it non-stop, as well as the 3 other Shantae games as well. I don't know how he sleeps ever, but it really comes in handy with things like this, because as you see, he has now pulled ahead just by a second just from doing these corner cuttings that he has gotten so used to.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where you're saving off frames at a time, and Turkey's been doing that for years.
So we have now gotten our Forbidden Isle map, which will allow us to go to the first island in this game, which is where the real fun starts.
Yeah, and JT in the first approach for Ammo Baron got a ton of pike balls, so he's going to use that to kill these 3 imps and get hopefully $15. Turkey, unable to kill those 3 imps, is going to jump over them. Since every time you try to kill something with this dash attack, it actually slows down the game just a little bit.
So, at this point, some brownies will choose to not hit the scarecrows just to save time, but I would say it's very beneficial to hit them just because of that chance of getting that super pike ball or that monster milk.
Yep, and it looks like neither runner got any crazy drops, so no massive pullaways in terms of the shopping trip. So they hand in that library card to get a kind of secret 100 gold, and what they're going to do here is they're going to buy 3 pirate flares and a super pike ball. Pirate flares are useful because they allow you to go from wherever you are back to your ship and allow you to leave the level fairly quickly. That super pike ball we're actually going to use on the second boss, so we're going to see that in a little bit.
So it's important to mention that because this is no out of bounds, in the dungeons, there are certain doors that you can only unlock with a key. So what we'll be seeing once these guys get into the dungeon in a little bit is we'll be seeing them trying to collect as many keys as possible for certain, no, not as many, but certain keys at certain points in order to unlock doors. And there are strategic placements for the keys that we'll be getting. JT getting hit by a little crab thing there, that's unfortunate, but won't waste too much time, thankfully.
But that not too much time is against Turkey, so Turkey's pulling just that little bit more ahead.
That is true. So we're coming up on a little skip that we like to do here.
Right, this is the first major sequence break from... Well, I guess not the first one, but it's a really big one. Since we can triple jump, you're supposed to shortcut back. But we can just go right up with the cannon. Here, pausing 3 times is a real weird glitch that prevents a sort of blinking animation from playing.
None of them getting the bonus skip as well, which the sniff skip, I believe it is, which cuts even more a few more seconds off as well. In order to do that, they have to activate the dialogue and then fall down into that hole that you saw. But none of them got that because it is a little bit precise. So both of them now swimming in saliva and getting that petrify spell, which will allow us to go into the first dungeon. So Turkey's gonna use the Petrify spell to kill this guy real quick by turning him into stone.
To be fair, the man wanted the Petrify spell. He just didn't think it through.
Yeah, note to self and to you, chat, don't ever use a Petrify spell in the hopes of reversing a Petrify spell. Does not work.
So here, Turkey is breaking into a sort of hidden level. This section pays homage to the first level in the first Shantae game. Even the map is kind of similar. And what we're going to do here is we're going to grab 2 keys. Fortunately for us, the keys can be used in any level of the game. So we're going to grab these 2 keys, and they're actually going to help us in about 20 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Close to it. In a section where we need 3 keys, we get 1 in that level, and we're able to use these 2 keys from right here. It also just allows general key shenanigans and just more optimal key routing because we have these 2 extra keys. Bit of extra wiggle room.
Yeah. So throughout the run, I believe we grab about 11 keys ish, well, no, scratch it. There's about 11 keys ish, I believe, that you can grab, but because of the routing, you have the option to skip up to 2. So I'll be interested to see if either Turkey or JT have a different route when it comes to keys, or if they've all figured out that the route that they are doing is the most optimal.
Yeah, I think JT and Turkey are doing the same key route. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So it looked like they both skipped. There was an optional key where you just saw in the room where JT passed, where if you went downward instead of just across to the key door, there was a key that you could get there, but they're both skipping that for a later on option.
And we'll explain that later on option when we get to it. Turkey having a pretty good lobster room. Missed a few extra hits, but still pretty good. You might be wondering, why do we pogo instead of using the cannonball? Well, the pogo hits both of them, so you're actually doing more damage overall than the cannon, which only fires 1. Only hits 1 at a time.
So Turkey is now on the first boss, which is a giant eyeball, and if you blinked, then you missed it, because that was stage 1 down, and now he's on the stage 2, which is this is where we really, this is one of the instances where we really abuse the game, because we're not supposed to have either the cannonball or the pogo stick, which allows us to jump basically on top of the boss and pogo stick to his death, like this JT did.
Yeah, very clean boss for Turkey. Let's see how JT's phase 2 goes.
Very cool.
Nice.
They are about
really
dead even.
Solid. That's really solid boss fights.
This is extremely close right now. But what is coming up is everyone's favorite part of Run Rowdy Tops.
So, get your guesses in chat. 0 to 5, I believe. There's a creature called Gatekeeper, which we just run by because it's slow to wait for it. Get your guesses in for how many times Gatekeeper is going to outright murder our runners. So,
Joko in chat, to answer your question, yes. How did they get the weapon so early? There is a mode in Shantae and the Pirate's Curse that's called Pirate Mode. It's basically New Game Plus, and that allows them to have all the items, which allows them to do bunches. Yes, so Run Rowdy Tops is the closest thing that we have to an auto-scroll in this game. It's not quite, because we do still have control over to some extent, but it's there's not really any glitches that I know of that are in this. It's mostly just pure tech and pure skill.
Yeah, for years people have been trying to figure out how to skip Run Rowdy Tops. It is not possible.
I wish.
There is a really funny glitch, though, where if you crawl into the screen, you just soft-lock the game, and Rowdy Tops is trapped forever. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But here we go. Turkey is starting off his Run Run Roddy Tops. Let's see how it goes. Do you know if he's going for any of the swag stake jumps? We'll find out.
We will find out. So there's also a funny glitch that happens that doesn't have any benefit, but every now and then Shantae's animation will get messed up, and her animation will just get sped up.
Here's Gatekeeper. We got 0 for Turkey.
Alright. 0 tongues for Turkey. He missed that drop off, but that's not too big of a deal, especially since he got all the other drop off. Oh, so he completely missed that tongue as well. Unfortunately, he got a bad cycle with those giant pikes. Usually able
JT
to
gets
run.
1.
Oh, there goes JT.
Okay, only 1. That's not too bad.
Unless he runs into a
tongue. It's actually faster to die once and keep going than it is to actually wait for that tongue to drop and finish. So that's why it's Gatekeeper. That's why we just keep going. Ooh. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Luckily,
this is a little too far to the right going for that tongue drop.
Yeah. Luckily, that's a short screen, so it won't cost him too much, but just enough to make him feel it.
Right, and one thing that we hadn't explained yet, the Run Run Roddy Tops works differently mechanically. Instead of dying and going back to the save point, you're actually just pushed back to the start of this room. The downside is that everything is a one-hit kill. So, tensions are high.
Yep, if you breathe too hard, you're dead. So, Turkey's at the bug room, as I like to call it. These tombstones come alive, and that one bug gets me all the time, but because sometimes if you jump up to avoid the first bug, that second bug will pop up and just get you right when you're in the air and you can't do anything.
Oh, he went for a... Okay, that's one... yeah. So... And he gets the other one. Yeah, so that's a low frame trick, right? But basically, the running joke is that Turkey's runs aren't validated unless he does those stake jumps. And he got both of them, so there you go.
I guess this is a solid run then.
JT getting a lot more of the tombstones coming alive.
Yeah, so I believe those tombstones are completely RNG, whether they pop up or not.
Oh, JT going for the stake jumps too!
Ooh.
Okay,
well,
only going
one
for the first one. Only going for the first one.
So here's the most useless room in Run Run Roddy Tops. Turkey is in, now he's passed. So now he's going to be meeting what I call Steven. Don't ask me why I call him Steven. They just look like Steven.
I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yep, and they shoot little flying sucky things at you that will suck your face off. And he's coming up on what we call the Gates of Hell. And it looks like they are closed. So the cycle on those gates are completely RNG, but if you get a good cycle, you can completely just run through those. Definitely Steven, it's Steven with a V. So Turkey's now in the last room. And the sucky thing about this room is that not only is it the last room and the hardest, but it's also the longest. So if you end up dying on this part, you'll lose up to like a minute, or if you die twice, even 2 minutes.
JT getting some real unfortunate leech patterns here.
Oof.
And Turkey like just barely squeezing through. Those fast jumps can be really tight if the tongue is down and the tombstone is active.
Oh yeah, those tombstones, those bugs are very, very much bullied.
Let's see how JT's final room goes. Okay, getting the cycles. One last spot. Ooh,
there he goes. He's got it. Okay. He's got it. Now he's gonna go say hello to our friend the Cackle Bat. So Turkey, back on Turkey's screen, Turkey is now on his way to the dungeon of this room. Yes, Turkey's execution was on point. He did that about as perfectly as you can hope, except for the gates were closed, but again, that's not really in his control. Turkey now is a shriveled Thane. which,
It
you
smells.
guessed it, it smells.
It smells. Funny story about that. That is one of the few text boxes that you cannot skip.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason.
It's just so important that it smells. That the developers just did not want you to skip that. It's very important. So Turkey is now going into the Cackle Tower, which is my least favorite Cackle dungeon, but that's because of out of bounds stuff, not because.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say this level's not too bad in no out of bounds.
No, in out of bounds we do a thing called a food float, and I absolutely am terrible at those. So this is why I hate.
Also, you're gonna see Turkey heading down, and he's going to grab that extra key. So this is the other major key option. A lot of runners generally prefer going for this one. It takes about the same amount of time if you use a pike ball, but this particular succubus enemy has a chance to drop a super monster milk, a super pike ball, or a pirate flare, which are all incredibly useful items.
He got the super monster milk,
which is the most ideal, most expensive item that she can drop. So very, very lucky on Turkey's end.
So that with that super monster milk, if he decides to use it for the spider boss, which will be coming up, that should make the spider boss very, very quick. But we'll see what he chooses to do. The nice thing about Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is that there's enough RNG to keep it interesting, but not enough to where like you completely like either lose a game or win a game based on RNG. So the RNG allows the runners to make certain choices at certain points.
JT getting a super pike ball, which is still pretty good. It's possible to get nothing, but he did get one of his 2 advanced resources. The advanced resources being super pike balls and super monster milks. For the later bosses, you want to make sure to at least have some kind of monster milk and some kind of pike ball. Ideally, supers over normals. And here we're finally using that super pike ball on Turkey's screen. I believe he's going to be going for the fast strat, which allows him to damage boost inside the Empress Spider and just constantly be damaging her. There we go.
Ooh, so she dropped down pretty quick, which is unfortunate, but he's still in the hitbox. So the idea of this is that you're trying to get stuck in her hitbox. Because every time Shantae gets damaged, her cannonballs are reset. So that she can continue to jump and stay in the air. Turkey not getting as well as he would hope, I'm sure.
Yeah, pretty rough spiderweb fight, almost using his auto potion. JT might actually have a big chance to catch up here.
JT not getting stuck either.
Oh, it's going.
Yeah, he's getting
It's going
there.
better than Turkey's for sure.
That's true.
I believe she's almost dead.
Looks like it.
And
he starts to move.
Dead. Dead?
Dead.
Nailed it. First try.
Yes. He definitely. JT definitely made up some time with that.
Oh, for sure.
So neither of the runners having to use their auto potion for that fight. Very good. That means that they can use it for other more intense fights or more damaging fights, rather, that they need. Because you'll notice that we've had 2 hearts for the entire game, and we're going to continue to have 2 hearts for the entire game, which is a total of 8 health, I believe. And as you continue through the game, enemies start to do more damage to the point where eventually enemies will be able to one-shot Shantae if the runners are not careful. So now we're saying hi to our good friend Squid Baron.
So this is going to kick off our first major fetch quest of the game. We're going to use these X-ray specs in order to find a series of sarcophagi, which basically give us the password to get into the next area. JT getting super lucky with triple monster milk from the cactuses.
Jeez, dude.
That's incredible.
That's godlike RNG right there.
He's pretty much set for default resources. And Turkey getting a bubble shield and another bubble shield, so why not? Good RNG all around.
For real, though. So Turkey's going for the mummy sketch. You noticed that we were already at this island, but we need to go back here in order to get that sketch so that we can open up a tan line temple. Which there are some fun times in tan line temple. I think it was in my casual playthrough. I think that was my favorite part of the game, tan line temple.
Oh, it definitely has the best music. Fight me.
I have to disagree with you. My favorite song will forever be not Run Run Tide, but just Roddy Tops' theme in general.
Yeah, Roddy Top's theme is pretty good.
But unfortunately, you only get to hear it for like 30 seconds in the run, which makes me very sad.
Oh, JT having some trouble getting all of the pots, but it looks like he did manage to get all 3.
And even if he missed one pot, he still has plenty of money for this coming up run. So.
Also, Turkey murdering Joe in cold blood. That will be relevant later.
Rip Joe. Joe has a hard life.
Yeah, Joe does have a pretty rough time in this game. But going for the next shopping trip, I'm not sure. Oh, he's skipping the last shopping trip. So Turkey is buying 5 pirate flares here. There's probably going to be a deviance here between JT and Turkey for that shopping trip. Turkey bought 5 pirate flares and a normal monster milk. He's gambling on the fact that he's going to get enough resources for all the bosses for the rest of the game, and hopefully not having to do another shopping trip. That's going to save a minimum of 20 seconds for Turkey. JT Oh, there we go. Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Sorry about
that. Minor technical difficulties, but everything's fine.
But we're seeing Turkey now at Tan Line Temple with doing some solid snake stuff. Basically, the gimmick with this is that if Shantae gets caught, she's sent back to the beginning, and they have to do this section all over again.
Ooh, JT not getting the... Oh no, he did get the cycle skip. Never mind. For a second there, I thought he missed it, but nope, we're good. This next room for Turkey being a very important cycle skip. Let's see if he gets it. Okay. Just barely making it through here. And let's see if he's going to go for this last one. And nailed it. Okay.
Does. Nice. Going a little bit safer than I think normal, but still very fast. So if you're wondering why we were stockpiling so many keys, Tan Line Temple is why. Because not only did those guys capture Shantae, but Risky decided to try to find us, and she got captured too. And for some reason, Sky is here. Because why not? And she got captured too.
Looks like JT is backpedaling on his plan to skip the last shopping trip. He's getting some extra money here.
Oh hey, and Roddy Tops is here too. Just in case you were wondering.
Let's see if he makes it over or if he's gonna wait. Alright, he went
over.
Alright, so everyone got their cycle skips in Tan Line Temple. Fantastic. Man, sub 30 Tan Line Temple in a tournament. What a legend.
Yep, this is the turkey we've come to expect. The turkey now gained the golden pickaxe, which will allow us to move on with the game and onto the Squid Baron dungeon.
Another bit of safety that some runners might do here, other matches of the tournament, is these Scorpion Girls have a chance to drop Super Pike Balls and Super Monster Milk. So you'll see some runners prefer to kill some of these enemies as opposed to doing a grind later. Turkey is pretty much going to ignore everything he possibly can and just go for guaranteed drops or forced enemies.
So we haven't actually talked about this, but you'll occasionally see the runners moving back and forth very quickly. That is what we call the risky shuffle. We are not supposed to be able to do that, but because we use controllers, most of us, I'm pretty sure, what we do is basically the way that the risky dash works in the normal game is that you move forward a certain amount and then you're allowed to dash. Well, instead of moving forward, what we do is what you see Turkey doing. We hold the analog stick one direction and then use our control pad as well, and the game counts it as moving in one direction for a while, which allows us to dash in places that we don't normally would be able to. We don't normally would be able to. Yeah, I think
it essentially allows us to move left and right, frame perfectly, which allows us to the game thinks we're doing one continuous dash. Ooh, and Turkey getting the one cycle on the Crusher. That's real tight. We have a setup for it, but it's still really tight.
Yeah, it can be pretty scary. But you
also,
see
Turkey, I missed exactly what he got, but it looks like Turkey got some crazy drops off of the Scorpion Girls.
Turkey not going for the recently discovered extract.
Ooh, JT getting hit by some spikes. Fortunately, it's not an instant kill, but it will send him to the start of the room.
I don't believe any of the runners have saved at this point.
No, neither runner is saved, but neither runner has used their auto-revive potion either.
That is true.
And Turkey finishing up Squid Baron here shortly. JT getting at least a Super Monster Milk from one of the Scorpion Girls. That's pretty good.
Meanwhile, we have Turkey finishing the Squid Baron fight. So there was a recently discovered strat that helps create that fight go a little bit quicker. But Turkey did not seem like he wanted to use it. He wanted to stick to his tried and true methods, which when you're the world record holder, I guess that makes sense. We'll see if JT decides to do the extract. Oh, it looks like he's trying it. Did not quite work out though.
Yeah, that might lose him a significant chunk of time. Since he's not using full resources, he's just using a normal Monster Milk instead of a Super Monster Milk here, along with his Super Pike Ball. It's very, very precise. We want to try to get the kill before you see the food stage, but since he killed him during the food stage, he's not going to get all the extra damage of Squid Baron just sitting still during his attacks. So this is going to be very tight to finish up this fight.
So JT is showing his veteran knowledge and knowing that he did not have enough damage to kill, to damage Squid Baron so that he'll stay still. You saw him jump up prematurely. Just again, this shows how much these guys played this game. And now we have TK onto Mudbog Island, my least favorite island of all time.
Everyone's least favorite island of all time.
Because the main thing that you see is that there's a lot of enemies if you look at TK's screen, and what that means is that if you're stopped, you're basically you may not be dead, but you're gonna take a lot of damage.
Right, and the cannon jumps and all the dashing is super tight because for some reason someone decided to give this level a ceiling, and the ceiling does nothing but get in your way.
Yeah, Way Forward was not very happy apparently when they made silence. But now Turkey is now going to the Village of Lost Souls, which is basically the underworld. But what he's going to do is he's going to go around collecting some coins, which will then bring us to the RNG minigame. So he has the blue coin now. He's going to go back and collect the red coin and the green coin. Once we do that, we will bring them back to 3 guys, which you'll see in a second. Which
Trent
will
pulling out the head tail
for
the coin. That's just rude.
I've gotten that for so many times.
Turkey here going for a delayed dash. What happens there is you can't risky shuffle through the room. There's an invisible wall there that actually stops you. So what we do is we set up the dash state so that Shantae is highlighting blue, and then we start the dash in the next room.
So Turkey now getting the last coin. What he's gonna do, he's gonna bring that back to the main room, and there'll be 3 weird-looking guys there. And basically, they ask you to play a game where you guess whether they land heads or tails. And the fun thing is that we have no idea what they're going to land because it's 100% RNG. So we're just gonna try to do the best we can and just guess heads all the time.
Fortunately, the game has mercy, and if you fail the minigame 3 times, it just automatically succeeds for you. So it's not like it's a 12% chance to continue, it's a 12% chance to continue. Oh,
he got the head tails!
The head tails! You monster!
And then he got tails twice in a row, and now he gets the heads. And
oh,
there's the heads.
Boy!
And there we go. Man, Turkey got the worst RNG.
Absolute. Well, I wouldn't say the worst RNG. He could have gotten heads, tails 3 times in a row.
That's true. That's fair.
He did get pretty bad RNG, though. So JT does have a little bit of time save he can gain on that. But even with the absolute worst RNG, it's not like you lose a minute or anything. You only lose a little bit.
Now Turkey's now summoning this hunky man.
But the point is, Manly Musk.
Yes.
Long story short, Manly Musk. And that Manly Musk is what we're going to use in order to get into the next stage.
Yes, we'll release the Manly Musk to this rock formation, which somehow can smell it. And now we're going inside its mouth.
So the oubliette is where you're supposed to get dash, which is why there's going to be a lot of really long rooms set up for us, because this area was originally designed for the dash. This area was not designed for the risky shuffle. So there's going to be a point where you're supposed to line up 3 platforms with the intention of you have to come from the previous room and then dash over them, but we're just going to risky shuffle and head right to the boss, skipping the majority of this stage.
Yeah, skipping like easily at least like 80 or 70% of this dungeon. And now we're going to Dagron. Dagron's a fairly simple fight. Normally, we would have to use the risky shuffle to hit those triggers that you see on the left side of TK's screen. But because we have the cannonball, instead we can just jump up and slap Dagron in the face a few times. Like that.
Yeah, it's really easy to lose control of this boss. Where he stops is mostly predictable, but if he hits you once, it's really easy for him to chain you into oblivion.
Yes.
Turkey getting a pretty good fight here. Should be a 3 cycle, and there it is.
Yep, getting it about as perfectly as you would want it. Meanwhile, JT just now entering the oubliette. JT's gonna have to make up some time at some point, but I would not say that it's a done deal yet.
Yeah, there's still one fairly RNG heavy boss that both runners are going to have to go through. And
fairly RNG heavy is giving it. Yeah, it's a little bit of an understatement.
Turkey again going for another delay. And Turkey's actually going to be kicking off a little collection side quest sort of thing. The last one of the game. We've already gotten some of the pieces, but he's going to go through several levels, revisiting several levels again. Let's see how JT does on the Dagron. And yes, it is Dagron, the misspelled monstrosity. When I watched people play this game for ages, I thought Dagron was just the in-joke, and then I realized it was actually Dagron.
Yeah. WayForward actually made that the name. The Madmen.
Ooh, JT having a little trouble getting the second hit in for Dagron.
Yeah, when Dagron stops in that middle
the
point.
ice area.
Yeah, when Dagron stops in that middle point, it's very hard to get him down on the ground. But JT still gets it really fast.
Yeah, very, very solid kill for JT.
So you see back on Turkey's screen, you see him. He's on Frostbite Island, and this point is basically him just running around a lot, avoiding the wolves as much as possible. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the wolves can one-shot you.
Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah. They have a chance of dropping Super Monster Milks and Super Pike Balls. So if you're desperate, you might want to kill some of them. But yes, you need to be very careful not to get hit by them.
Especially for Turkey, who I believe still hasn't saved.
Yes, neither of our runners have saved yet, but both of our runners still have their revive potion, so...
Only 6 HP loss? Alright. That's still...
Only 6 HP? Okay.
That can
That's
still be a
lot.
death sentence.
JT having a pretty good... What is this town called again? I can never remember what it's actually called.
Propeller Town?
Propeller Town, that's right, Propeller Town. Turkey having a pretty good Propeller Town. This is the point where the game knows you have the cape and knows you have the dash boots, so there's some pretty crazy stuff. Oh, JT did save. Okay, I must have missed it.
He saved outside of Tianmen Temple. Alright. So, yeah, you may be wondering, like, well, what's the big deal if he doesn't save? Well, this game has no autosave at all. So, if either of these runners were to die, oh, not either, but if Turkey was to die, then he would go back to the very beginning of the game where we had that
the one forced save.
Which effectively would just basically make him lose the race. So it's always interesting in races to see if runners will choose to be safe or if they just want to do that risky strat, save that time, and go all or nothing.
So Turkey getting Turkey getting one of the things that we need to collect in this massive fetch quest, the targeting module. Next up, he's going to be going for the Soul of Joe, which we got that lost spirit. Turns out it's Joe, because, you know, who else would it be?
Yeah. I mean, we did kill Joe earlier, so it's only fair that we save him, right?
Ooh, JT going for some crazy strats, landed on the spike boxes. You're actually invincible while dashing. So it's possible to run on lava, run on quicksand, run on spikes. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, Shantae definitely gets those invincibility frames, and those are pretty handy at times. Turkey opting to hand in the death mask for the pirate flare. There's no...
I think he pretty much has to, like it's routed in.
Yes, I believe so. In no out of bounds. In out of bounds, it's not necessarily.
Oh, okay. There's my confusion. Because usually you would have, usually you would have no pirate flares by this point. So fortunately, you would get one by handing in the mask. Turkey bought 5 pirate flares. Usually, when you come back to this town, you would do a shopping trip. But Turkey is going to be absolutely gung ho and just ignore the third shopping trip altogether.
What do you think he's gonna do? A nut bust?
Let's see. Nope, didn't get it.
Well, he might fix himself. He's done it before. He might just take that extra time to line it up right.
Would he do that in a tournament race though?
If anyone would, it'd be Turkey.
That's true. Nope, he mashed. Never mind.
No nut bust today.
Yep, this is in fact He-Man. Sorry, legally distinct He-Man. Oh, JT or Turkey going for the I don't know what that's called, the wall walk glitch, the void walk glitch, but it's so funny.
Run invalid, yeah. The run's only valid if you get a net bust.
And Turkey handing in all the stuff we found, the module, the crew members, and that's going to crack open the next level.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why Shantae is giving all these points, all these things to the bad guy, I don't know either.
OT Live, Turkey is the one who is currently in the lead.
Yes. Turkey now going to the Frostbite Island dungeon. You see JT opting to buy certain things for the final boss and the RNG boss, which is coming up.
Turkey there checking to see if he had any items to do for animation skips. There's a glitch in this game where you can play the item usage animation over the item pickup animation, say using a potion instead of picking up a key. And the item usage animation is faster. We're able to do that by buffering inputs. But we were unable to see that this race. I don't think JT got any spare potions or anything like that, so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But stay tuned later in this tournament, and I'll sure you see a bunch. And by the way, if you're wondering what Buster was, JT just got one.
There he goes. That means JT's got a valid run. Oh, he did do it earlier? Oh, there you go.
Okay, I didn't see him get the potions from his second shopping trip.
So, TK is coming up on our lovely RNG boss. The deal with this boss is the Steel Maggot has 3 buttons that you'll see on his back. And you have to hit those buttons with your cannon in the correct order. Now you may be wondering, well, how do you know what the correct order is? That's a good question. We don't. We have to completely guess. And sometimes the boss is nice and gives us a nice 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it doesn't. It gives us like a 3, 1, 2, which is really annoying.
There we go. Turkey wrapping up this boss, I believe. Yep, there it goes.
So Turkey, not too bad. Not too bad RNG. Things are looking a little bit dire for JT, but it's still not over yet.
So here we go. This is the animation skip I was referring to.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Turkey definitely got a fairly fast maggot, relatively speaking. My current any percent splits, I lost a minute on maggot. It was miserable.
Oh man, only a minute? That's lucky.
Fair.
So, Turkey is now on his way to fight the Pirate Master, who is the final boss, and kind of a pushover compared to some, especially if you have the right items. However, if you do not have the right items, specifically a bubble shield, you can indeed get one shot. So, if Turkey takes too long to kill him, or it just does not have a bubble shield, which I'm pretty sure he does, then this is still possible that Turkey, he could still die, meaning that JT could still win. So this is, I'm not gonna say this is Turkey's win until the fat lady sings.
JT getting his chance at the Steel Maggot.
That's the example of bad RNG. However, Steel Maggot kind of being nice to him, giving him the 3-2.
Yeah, Turkey going for the final approach here.
Yeah, so Pirate Master is now taking over Scuttle Town, and everything's dark and gloomy and spooky.
Yeah, JT having some pretty bad luck hitting the back switches. Now, Turkey is going to be going for a glitch here called Palace Skip. Out of bounds and no out of bounds have 2 different ways of doing this, but essentially it's boiled down to very, very precise hat movements and very, very precise cannon movements. What we're going to do is we actually hold down the hat button and then cannon 3 times at just the right intervals so we're able to go from between these platforms.
Yeah, you see him missing that one.
Turkey missing it there. It's incredibly precise. And you might be wondering, what are we skipping? We're skipping levels called the Pirate Masters Trials that are just incredibly long beasts of levels. So we don't want to do those anyway.
Yeah, no one wants to do those.
Literally no one.
Yeah. But see, Turkey is now heading into Pirate Master. That's Pirate Master right there. He's pretty spooky.
You're also going to see Turkey jumping a lot during this fight. That's because landing on the ground, I believe it's landing, cancels the attack animation, so you're able to attack just that little bit faster once you land.
Mm-hmm. Turkey's got the bubble shield, which makes Pirate Master's little bubble attacks completely useless. Meaning that the only damage he'll take at this point is running into Pirate Master like he did there, or if he gets hit by the lasers, which will be coming up.
Right, and I believe he still has his resto
He's
potion.
got it.
Oh, there we go.
He got it.
50,
That's a 5106
for Turkey. Is that a second place time on the leaderboard?
No, unfortunately not. However, it would be a third place.
Okay. But very, very good time from Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. Almost sub 51 in the first tournament race is absolutely nuts.
Yep. Meanwhile, JT now approaching Pirate Master. So yeah, if you're wondering why Pirate Master is still alive after we kicked his butt, it's because we do not do the true ending on this any percent. Because like we mentioned at the very beginning, to get true ending, you have to kill all the Cacklebats, and that's just annoying.
The all dark magic category is a pretty fun category, though.
Very long, though.
Very, very, very long. Should we pull Turkey in for an interview?
If you wish.
How do we...
You know, JT having a little bit of trouble with the climb. Understandable. You see him again. Like we said, this hat climb is super precise. It's the bane of every no out of bounds runner's existence, basically. In out of bounds, you have a food float that just completely brings you to the top. But in no out of bounds, obviously we don't have that option, so we gotta do this stupid climb. JT saving, very smart, because again, Pirate Master can one-shot you. Hopefully JT has the bubble shield. He does.
Hey, Turkey! Congrats on the run.
Hey, Turkey.
What
JT
actually
is
happened?
just finishing up now.
Well, I mean, you won, so that's that. That happened.
Damn, that
Yeah,
was a crazy run.
That was honestly incredibly solid. 10 seconds off second place.
I know, I was a bit worried after Ammo Baron start. I also got a little cheeky trying to break through the bridge, to be fair. Got in a practice run prior to actually race. I thought, oh, go on, I'll give it a go. But apart from that, RNG was pretty decent overall, and felt like a solid run despite the fact my hands were a bit twitchy, but
Yeah, very, very solid. Also, I just realized JT's doing this fight without a monster.
Yes. That means that more than likely his bubble shield will fall apart at some point, and he's already used his auto potion. But he got it.
It's very
5408.
Nice, GG man, GG.
So anything crazy stand out from your run, Turkey?
I'm not too sure. I mean, at one point I thought I was going to get a perfect game, and I was actually sitting there thinking, oh, please don't do that, because that's just going to be cruel. And then he trolled me at the end, like, oh, okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah, we saw you going for the third shopping trip skip, and I'm like, in a tournament race, what a legend.
To be fair, it's more down to because of the fact that you start off with an auto potion. I've always got that safety in general, and it all depends on how the RNG works out. I mean, luckily got the super monster milk from the bat lady drop, and
That's
had enough
true.
to get all flares and a regular milk. So I was already 2 milks in the hole. So that wasn't too bad. In worst case scenario, I'd have had to grab some additional gems and then take a third shop at the end. So
Yeah,
as long as I got that auto potion,
JT also attempted to go for the third skip, but didn't quite have the right resources for it.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, RNG will play a factor in going for that kind of strategy. I mean, I got very fortunate. Very fortunate.
And JT's done with his run, so let's pull him in for some post-run interview action as well.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, JT!
Hey, guys.
JTNori, man.
Congratulations.
Really good.
You had a heck of a run, Turkey. That's near your world record time.
Good 40 seconds off, but it's our RNG base. I got very fortunate in RNG, to be fair.
I wish I could say the same.
I think I at least got 2 super monster milks and 3 super pikes.
Wow.
So JT, what point was it that you decided to pivot and no longer go for the skip the third shopping trip strat?
I think that my eye opener was the first charge getting Branson's sword when I went through all those skeletons and got no drops at all. I was like, you didn't want to be in my room at that time. The expletives were flying.
Yeah, that was pretty rough because as soon as I saw you go for the extra coins in the temple, I was like, oh, you don't need those coins if you're skipping the last shopping trip. He's pivoting right away.
Yeah, no, I had to make that call at that point. I mean, RNG was kind of favorable. Like, I'd gotten a couple of regular monster milks at that point. Super pike balls were a little low. So I was just like, I'm just going to grab these gems because I got a bad feeling. And I still ended up short for the run. I didn't have a monster milk for Pirate Master. So
yeah, I noticed that.
But you didn't die.
I didn't die. I mean,
true.
I had the auto potion. I knew I could be a little aggressive. And it came down to what the laser pattern was at the end. Unfortunately, it didn't target me at all, so I was able to.
You got really lucky with the laser pattern for that last finish.
Yeah, I got lucky there. That could have been very nasty. I did save right before Pirate Master because I didn't like at all where I was at with that. So.
And so yeah, be sure to give both these runners a follow. Amazing race, very very close. There is another race tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Speed Gaming 3 between myself and Amethyst for the Sky group. Although we don't have the group anywhere on the overlay, so that's fine. But yes, there is a race tonight, and there's a bunch of races this week. Check out the Speed Gaming schedule for more when those get scheduled for appropriate times and appropriate channels.
And if you loved my beautiful voice, I will be commentating with JTNori for the match at 8 p.m.
And yeah, it's myself and Amethyst, if I didn't say that already. I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
Brain freeze!
And thank you all for watching.
Thanks, Speed Gaming, for hosting. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Speed Gaming, for that, man.
Yep, and stay tuned for more crazy Shantae gaming over the next couple of weeks.